So CPAC, the annual conservative confab, happened this past weekend, usually in the D.C. area. This time it was held in Florida. Several controversies erupted out of the gathering this year, as can be expected, but none more important or disturbing than the revelation, as exposed by a great many left-wing media outlets and journalists online, that the entire CPAC stage in the main event hall was really a giant secret Nazi symbol. According to the conspiracy theorists, who are the good kind of conspiracy theorists, remember, not the bad kind, according to them, the stage was in effect a dog whistle, a message to the underground army of white supremacist Nazis in this country. It was a sort of bat signal, you might say, if Batman was a Nazi. And frankly, given that he was rich and white, he probably was a Nazi, come to think of it. In any event, many frantic tweets like this one were sent out on Saturday. This is from a guy named Ben Jackson, who writes for a number of media outlets. And he said, "This is the CPAC stage design below. It is a rune which was used by the SS. This is the stage from which Ted Cruz screeched freedom." Now, Elise Hogue, who's the president of NARAL, a militant pro-abortion organization, chimed in and said, "The CPAC stage resembles a known SS Nazi insignia. Generously, let's assume the design was an error. They should immediately release an apology and change up the stage. Not doing so will convey the most reprehensible intent." Okay. All right. Well, all they have to do is literally tear down their stage and rebuild it in the middle of the event. If they don't do that, then they're Nazis. So what's it going to be, CPAC? Are you going to call in a construction crew and rebuild your stage while President Trump is standing on it to speak? Or will you admit you're Nazis? Those are your two choices. Checkmate. Now here's Slate with more information about the Nazi stage. They say, quote, Matt Schlapp, the head of the American Conservative Union, who organizes the Conservative Political Action Conference, is pushing back against those who said that the stage for the event that is taking place in Orlando is eerily reminiscent to a Nazi symbol. Quote, "Stage design conspiracies are outrageous and slanderous," Schlapp tweeted. He went on to say that CPAC proudly stands with our Jewish allies. The fact that Schlapp felt the need to comment on the issue illustrates just how pervasive the comparisons had become on social media, as many pointed out that the shape of the stage looked like a Nazi symbol. Specifically, many said the stage looked like a version of the Odal rune, also referred to as the Othala rune. The symbol dates back centuries, but was also used by some Nazi SS divisions during World War II. The symbol was emblazoned on uniforms of some Nazi soldiers. Okay, there you go. The stage looked like the Othala rune, which was used by some Nazi SS divisions in World War II. What, you didn't know what the Othala rune was and had no idea that this seemingly innocuous shape was associated with it? And what's that? You have not memorized every shape and insignia that appeared on every uniform of every Nazi division? Well, that's only because you're a Nazi yourself. Or, wait a second, maybe that doesn't make any sense. See, personally, I saw the CPAC stage and thought nothing of it because I'm not an expert on obscure Nazi symbolism. A lot of leftists apparently are such experts or pretend to be, which leaves us with two options. Either these people spend a lot of time studying Nazis and Nazi symbolism and are super into it, which raises all kinds of suspicions if you ask me, or more likely, almost all of them had no idea that this shape had anything to do with the Nazis, but then they learned about it on Twitter and immediately decided that it was impossible that the CPAC organizers could have been as ignorant as they were on the subject. This is a common move on the internet, of course, not just people, accusing people of being Nazis, that's common, but also the thing where you learn about something and then 5 seconds later, you're mocking everybody else for not knowing the thing that you also didn't know prior to 5 seconds ago. But the whole controversy does raise 2 points. First of all, though I know that pointing out double standards from the left seems rather fruitless at this point, I do have to make this observation. These people just a few weeks ago were canceling Gina Carano for making a Nazi comparison. And now here they are comparing the CPAC stage designers to Nazis because the shape vaguely resembles an old Nordic symbol that some SS divisions briefly used on their uniforms 80 years ago. So we're used to the hypocrisy, of course, but this is egregious even by left-wing standards. Second, it's worth reflecting on the fact that the people accusing CPAC of intentionally setting up its stage to look like a Nazi symbol are not all being disingenuous. I mean, certainly a portion of them are. Some of them know how ridiculous the claim is and are saying it anyway. Good old-fashioned political slander. But the really disturbing and also kind of remarkable thing is that many of these people truly believe it. They truly believe that the CPAC stage was a Nazi symbol because they truly believe that CPAC itself is a Nazi gathering and that conservatives in general are mostly Nazis. I know we're used to this also by now, but think about it. Really think about it. If you're a conservative, a sizable number of your ideological opponents, honest to God, believe that you are an actual Nazi or Nazi sympathizer. The people putting this idea into their heads, they know better. But the average dupe doesn't. They believe it. They believe that they are in a fight against literal Nazis. You know that I'm highly skeptical that there can ever be unity in this country again. In general, I'm skeptical of that. But if it's going to happen, if there's any hope of it happening, it would have to start, bare minimum, with the left acknowledging that their political opponents are not actual Nazis. I mean, we couldn't unify simply based on that fact alone. We can't say like, yay, we're all not Nazis. Let's unite. There needs to be more to it than that. But admitting that your opponents are not Nazis is certainly a necessary first step. And on the left, even that step is too much. Even that is a bridge too far. Even that is more ground than they are willing to concede. And hopefully, if nothing else, this will put into perspective our chances of ever having unity at all in this country. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.